Hi everyone and welcome to the channel. This is going to be a new project that I'm starting. I'm going to be starting the reason I'm making this video in particular is I want to talk about a challenge that I'm going to start doing next week called the Ugly Duckling Challenge. I'm going to call it the Ugly Duckling 60, or for short, it's going to be the UD60. But the reason why it's called the Ugly Duckling Challenge, I think we all know the story of the ugly duckling that became Beautiful Swan. So that's just sort of this way to describe what I want to do with myself. I've always considered myself a bit of an ugly duckling that never became the beautiful swan. I know that's a bit cringy, a bit of a cringy thing to say, but that's how I perceive myself really. So what I want to do with myself is I want to set myself a 60-day challenge. I'm going to beginning on the first day of May, of this year, obviously, and yeah, it's first day of May, and I'm gonna continue on to the last day of June. So that'll be about, I think it's actually 61 days, but it just sounds better to make a 60-day challenge, but give or take a day, um, it will be around 60 days. I just want to improve myself. This is all about self improvement. As I said before, I perceive myself to be an ugly duckling, and I don't really want to be. I want to improve on myself, not just in terms of physical appearance, but also confidence, like productivity, just like fitness, nutrition, sleep, and those are sort of the main things I'm going to be talking about in this video. And I also want to talk about social media. Um, so over next, over the next, well, not the next, but over the 60-day challenge, I want to make an effort to actually document the process. I'm really bad at documenting, um, really bad at documenting things. In terms of like filming and taking photos, I've always been a bit bad. I'm always being not consistent with that. Never really been consistent with social media, consistent with posting and creating content, and I want to get better with that. So that's also part of what the Ugly Duckling 60 is about. Um, but I guess I just want to talk about some of the sort of main goals, and I also like sort of the main aspects of the Ugly Duckling challenge, but also the how I'm going to be measuring my performance and my success. The first aspect of the Ugly Duckling challenge is fitness and nutrition. I'm putting those two together because even though they might be viewed separately, I think, well, I mean, everything's interconnected, but I think I just want to, for the purpose of this video and for the purpose of the Ugly Duckling challenge, is I'm going to be putting those two together, um, because I think they're obviously very, like, they complement each other. So yeah, so fitness and nutrition. I have a, consistency has always been a problem for me in all aspects, um, of my life, but fitness and like just like going to the gym, like eating well. I've always been sort of given it a half, like a 50. I've always been like given a 50% effort to eating well. Mostly I eat well. It's just I think sometimes I might every now and then I might have like something that's probably not the best. I mean, I think that's okay to do, but I think sometimes I just have just a little bit too much, and I think it's also sometimes I don't have enough. I don't eat enough food, so I have trouble putting on muscle because I don't eat enough food. Um, but other than that, my diet's been okay. But I just want to get it. I just want to improve on it. And as for fitness, in terms of fitness, I just want to over the next 60 days. I really want to make a consistent effort to actually turn up to the gym and have a good workout and make sure when I'm at the gym, I'm actually putting in effort, um, work on my form, um, and all of that sort of thing. Um, I want to make sure that yeah, just being consistent. I'm turning up to gym as much as I can, um, and also being consistent with cardio. So I normally how I like to do my fitness schedule is I will go to the gym in the mornings, Monday to Friday. Saturday, Sunday, I will run. I don't go to gyms on the weekend. I go for a run in the morning, just around my local area, or around the streets I live, whatever, like just like around the block or around you know what I mean. But just around my house, I go running. So that's my fitness routine. But I just want to be a bit more consistent with it and try and increase my performance, which brings on to my next aspect of the Ugly Duckling 60 challenge, which is um I want to get better with sleep, because in order to perform well, and also in order for like the nutritional is also important for the nutritional part, is I have to get better. I've always struggled with sleep, which sleep impacts. We never really consider we never really stop to consider this, but sleep impacts a lot. And most people don't really get enough sleep, and it's me especially. My sleep is, I would say, I normally get around 6 to 7 hours a night, which I guess is standard. But I want to sort of improve. I want to improve on the quality of sleep. Um, and I want to make sure I'm going to bed earlier. Because a lot of people talk about, waking up at 5 or 5:30 or whatever, but no one ever talks about going to bed early. There's always this emphasis on going to getting up, waking up early, but no one ever talks about. I don't hear a lot of people talking about. I don't hear a lot of people talking about going to bed early or falling asleep early. It just um no one ever considers that part of sleep. Because if you're going, it's all very well to say, "I'll wake up at 5:30," but if you're going to bed at like 12 o'clock, well, that's not very good. There have been some nights where I do go to bed at the time that I set for myself, but at other times I will stay up a little bit later. It's very unusual for me to stay up like really late, like 2, 3 in the morning. That's very unusual. When I say late, I'm more so talking about like 11ish. So I normally like to be in bed by 10 o'clock, but sometimes I might not get off to bed between like 11:30, um, simply because there might be some sort of distraction, or sometimes I might. It also, like, sometimes I will go to bed earlier, but then it takes me like a really long time to sleep. Sometimes it does take me a really long time to get to sleep. Mostly I'm going to bed at like a little bit after 10, maybe 10:30. But I want to sort of get closer to 9:30. I think for a lot of people 9:30 is very early to go to bed. But when I say there's the difference between going to bed and falling asleep. And as I mentioned before, it can take me a while to go to sleep. So I want to improve on going to bed earlier, and I just want to be more consistent with that. Because it doesn't make sense if I go into bed like 10 o'clock every second night and then going to bed at 11 o'clock every other night. That's just not very good. Obviously, not very consistent. And um, I want to make sure like every night, if possible, I'm going to bed before 10 o'clock. And obviously, people have different work schedules, and not like some people go to bed at 2 a.m. wake up at 12, like 12 in the afternoon, and that's what works for them. Some people, go to bed at 9 a.m. and so not some people go to bed at 9 p.m. and then wake up at 5 a.m. because that's what works for them. It also depends on like different work schedules, and all that. It also depends on different work schedules and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, I think I've talked about sleep enough. The next thing I want to talk about is social media. So, um, the reason why I'm bringing up social media, one of the aims of the Ugly Duckling Challenge is not just to um, improve on good habits. It's also to improve decrease bad habits. So social media, like so many people these days, I will say that I will admit that I do have a bit of an addiction to it. I think most people have an addiction to social media. It must be like one of the most major addictions, because I don't have an addiction to alcohol or anything like that. But when it comes to Instagram, I think like Instagram, sometimes Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest. It is like, and even though Pinterest is sort of a bit different. When I say social media, I guess most people. I'm mainly talking about Instagram. TikTok. I've never really been interested in TikTok. I don't have an account on TikTok. But anyway, my main issue is Instagram. I think the problem with social media is that I want to be posting on social media. Um, but in order to post on, I mean, there are ways around it. But for me, I haven't quite figured it out. That in order for me to post on social media, I need to log into social media. But the problem is, if I log on to social media, I will, instead of posting content, I will look at other people's content, and one of my main goals is to have a more focus on creating content rather than consuming content. Now, there's nothing wrong with consuming content, because in order for because I obviously I want when I create content, I want other people to consume it. So obviously there's nothing wrong with being a consumer, but I think sometimes I consume too much, and I need to have a focus on creating content. One of the things that I struggle with is that I'll go onto Instagram to post a picture or whatever, and I instead of posting a picture, I will start getting distracted by other people's content. Then I've wasted all this time, and then once I realize I've wasted so much time, I will then delete the app, and I would have deleted the app actually posting without actually posting any content or doing what I like doing the actual thing I came in to do. It's a bit like it's like the social media equivalent of going into a shop with the intention of buying something. And instead of buying that one thing, you buy all these other things except that one thing. If you know what I mean. Is that a good? I think that's a good analogy. I need to work on that one. But anyway, yeah. So social media, I just want to decrease my consumption of other people's content at the same time of putting my of having a consistency, being a bit more consistent with putting stuff out there. And as I said at the beginning of this video, I also want to make sure that I'm documenting the Ugly Duckling 60 challenge, because that can be obviously that's going to be social media content, but again, I might get lost in other people's content. So I guess it's just a matter of like setting a time limit for myself on how long I spend on social media, and also in terms of consuming other people's content, my plan is to slowly cut back. So what I want to do is I want to start a process of like I don't want to go. I don't want to. I'm not interested in doing cold turkey. Cold turkey doesn't work for me. Um, what I want to do instead is just I want to go a week without looking at other people's content, and then I look at other people's content. I spend maybe like an hour or so on Instagram. Then I go 2 weeks, look at Instagram. Another 3 weeks, look at Instagram. See what I'm doing. I'm slowly over time increasing the amount of time between like each visit to Instagram. So hopefully, if I do that, my consumption will slowly decrease. Now, obviously, as I said, if I'm going to be logging into Instagram every day to post stuff, there's probably going to be a chance that I probably am going to get distracted. But I guess that's all about having the strength not to do that, and just making sure I'm being going onto Instagram with intention and doing what I'm actually supposed to do, which is to post my own content rather than look at other people's. I also wanted to talk about the way that I'm going to be measuring the Ugly Duckling 60 challenge. It's going to be both a point system as well as a tally system, although the tally system is like a point system. It's basically going to be a point system where, like, if, for example, if I get enough sleep during the night, I will give myself a point. But it's going to be like a 1 step forward, 2 steps back point system where if I get enough sleep during the night, I give myself 1 point. But if I don't get enough sleep, I subtract 2 points. And the point of this point system is that I just want to get enough points to see how I'm going, just to see how I'm progressing during the Ugly Duckling challenge. I haven't worked out like the exact numbers and stuff like that, but as I said, 1 point, I just, you know what I mean. I haven't taught like if like the total numbers I want to get, if it's just going to be a percentage or how it's going to work. That I'm not sure about that. Like it's going to be like 100 points. I guess being the 60-day challenge, you might probably best to be 60 points. Just before I wrap up this video, um, as I said before, this challenge is going to be 60 days. But that's not to say that I'm not going to continue with I'm not going to continue doing that after the challenge. In fact, what I want to do after the 60-day challenge is up, I'm starting on the first day of July. I want to start a either a 180 challenge or a 360, 365 challenge. I'm not sure if I want to overlap. I don't really like the thing with me. I don't really like do things that overlap years. I know it sounds weird, but I don't like to. I like to sort of do things within a year. So what I might do is that I might going through to the second half of 2023. I might do a 180 challenge. Even I know it's not exactly 180, but whatever. Yeah, I might do a 180 challenge, or I might do a 365 challenge going from like the 1st of July of this year to the last day of June next year in 2024, or I might just do a 180 challenge and do like a 365 365 challenge starting next, and I just do that for, or it'll actually be 366 next year because next year's a leap year. Yeah, so it'll be a or I can just take one day off, I suppose. But anyway, that is what I'm thinking about doing. I just want to stay. I want to just start off with a 60-day challenge. And also, if you're wondering why I just don't start the 60-day challenge now, well, first of all, I want to prep for the 60-day challenge. I wanted to make a video before the 60-day challenge, and also I like to start things because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, or I have to start things like the first day of a year. Um, and I guess it's all the 60-day challenge is building is a sort of a smaller challenge that's building up to a much larger challenge, which would be the 180 challenge. And I'll see how I go with the 180 challenge. But first I want to do the first we'll start. Yeah, I need to start off with the first day of the month or the first day of the year. I know that's it's sort of like weird, but now that we're in late April, it's gonna be May next week. Next Monday is it's gonna be May, so I might as well have like a week to sort of prep myself, to sort of include those habits. So yeah, that's why I'm starting on the first day of the May rather than starting now. But anyway, probably part of the time because it takes me forever to edit and upload. This video will probably be uploaded by then anyway. And also, if you want to do like a challenge like this, it doesn't have to be 60 days. It can literally be like a week, where you just like do, um, where you just have like a glow up or whatever. Or it's going to be much longer than six. It can be like 365 or even longer than that. But I'm doing 60 days. It just seems more appropriate for me at this point. It sort of lines up with like the calendar year and stuff like that. But that's what I'm doing. You don't have to do the same thing as me. But I do hope this sort of doing like a 60-day ugly duckly challenge does. Not only will it help me, but it also hopefully inspire other people to do the same thing. Just before I go, I also want to say I will also be doing. I'll try and start doing more topical videos, which are just basically going to be me having a sit down and talking about different topics. So if there's any topics you want me to talk about, please let me know. But other than that, that's all I have to say for now. And thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video.